there's a reason Harris didn't go on any podcasts, a couple of reasons. The first is that the Democrats are so clueless when it comes to the alternative media that they might as well be living in 1970. We invited, by we, I mean a group of major podcasters in the US. We've invited Democrats to speak with us. We've offered formal invitations repeatedly for 8 years. And we mediated those invitations through one of the Democrats' central political messengers. And they got the invite. And we couldn't find one who would do it. Not one. Now, Dean Phillips talked to me after he got slaughtered in his presidential campaign because he got betrayed so badly by his Democrat peers. And I've talked to RFK and Gabbard, who are, heretical Democrats. But the thing about the Democrats that is very much worth understanding is all the people who have a voice left or got killed.
Well, they're anti-pluralist, which, by the way, is they accuse the populists of being anti-pluralist. But if you look at Trump's coalition, it's a pluralist
Yes,
coalition.
it certainly is, yes.
And Obama now, anti-pluralism, they can't say anti-populist anymore because that doesn't work. So they're anti-pluralist. But it was the Democrats. I heard your interview of Dean Phillips. And what he's describing is a totalitarian party.
So absolutely. Well, and it's worse than that. It's worse. Or maybe this is a reflection of that totalitarian proclivity. The reason Harris didn't go on podcasts, apart from the fact that the Democrats are completely clueless about the alternative media, and like I said, live in 1970, is that a Democrat won't say anything that hasn't been workshopped.
Right.
And the reason for that is they don't want to offend anyone. Well, if you're not going to offend anyone, you're going to say the most anodyne things, which of course Harris always sounds like she's talking to retarded kindergarten children. Yeah. It's so demeaning. Yeah. And you might say, well, that's the level at which she's capable of conducting discourse, and that might be true, but there is this additional element of the absolute inability of the Democrats to say anything that would offend their most sensitive, progressive junior staffer.
And that's not happening just in the Democrat Party. That's been happening in the progressive movement.
Yes,
basically
definitely.
All American liberals have this censoring, which again fits into my idea that hurty words, think hurty words end up in genocide. And I would say that the opposition to that, what's happened in return, is Trump doesn't give a damn. He says whatever he wants.
Yes.
And all of that. And you have just a kind of response to the virtue signaling left is the vice signaling right, where, what's the most popular comedy show in the world? It's Kill Tony now.
Right.
Where they find the meekest, these literally disabled people, and they will humiliate them on stage. And everyone's is kind of equal opportunities humiliation, but it's very much a total antithesis of that's happened at the cultural level.
Yeah. Well, you've seen firsthand that proclivity for cowardly virtue signaling in the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's amazing to watch this in the theater community and in the motion picture community in the US. This is starting to fragment. I mean, Hollywood is in catastrophically dire straits. The projections are now that 50% of live theaters will close in the US in the next 3 or 4 years. And part of the reason for that is that who the hell wants to go watch a modern movie? Yeah. They're dull beyond comprehension. Now, there are some bright spots. Sheridan, is that his name? Tyler Sheridan, who did Landman and Yellowstone.
And Top Gun went through the roof because
because Tom Cruise is not woke in the least, and he's about the only star left who can pull his weight at the box office. But there are, I can see, there's been I've made contact with a number of Hollywood stars who are still private in their interest in what I'm doing.
Love what you're doing.
But there's enough of them now so that I can see that that's going to change dramatically. And so I don't know what that'll mean for a democratic reformulation. I've been talking to a friend of mine, the same guy who does the messaging for the Democrats, and I told him after the election that if he could go and find some Democrats that he thought had some leadership potential, that this podcast circuit, that the people I've been in communication with, we'd be happy to talk to them because all of us are, what would you say, sophisticated enough to understand that it would be real useful for the Trump team to have some opposition that wasn't insane. But my friend's response to that after a couple of months was that he couldn't find a single Democrat he thought had the chops or the moral force to manage a podcast interview. They're also concerned with the soundbite and not offending anyone, that it would just be a disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Podcasts brutally punish people who won't speak freely.
Exactly.
Right. The comment section will just, it's like being flayed.
Yeah.
And it's clear Harris couldn't manage that and didn't even know that she should.
Bless.
Yeah. It would have been a very interesting thing to see.